Not true. Hello you guys, welcome back to Workout Wednesday. Today I'm bringing you my everyday stretch routine. As a dancer, I really need to maintain my flexibility and really work on it, as it's not something that comes naturally to me, and I've had to work quite hard to get to where I am now. So these are the exercises I like to do every day to make sure I'm maintaining that flexibility. I hope you enjoy, and let's get straight into it. Alright guys, starting today's stretch routine off at the top of your mat. I inhale at the top and exhale, roll down to the bottom of the mat with a micro bend in my knees. I inhale here, exhale, extend the legs, stretch out the hamstrings, inhale back. I do this 4 times, stretching up and down, getting some mobility in those hamstrings, warming them up for today's stretch. I then walk out to my first downward dog, pushing through the shoulder blades and pedaling out the feet, stretching out those Achilles and hamstrings. From here, I like to stretch my weak leg first so I get it out of the way. For me, that's my left leg, so I bring it forward and I'm going to rock forward and back in this lunge position 8 times, just to get some mobility through those hips. Six, 7, the last one, 8. From here, I like to come down to my elbows and really get a stretch through those hips and hip flexors. And have a moment here. I then extend my top arm up to the ceiling, trying to push through my shoulders, really stretching out that spine and pushing into those hips. I hold it here for about 10 seconds and then come back down and bring my knee down. Tucking that foot, then I do 8 rocks forward and back, getting mobility in those hips again. I really want to mobilize those hips so I'm not getting any strain or causing any friction on it whilst I'm stretching in so early on in my stretch routine. This also stretches out my hamstring as well when I'm rocking back. And it just feels real good. I love it. 2, last one, pushing back and forward. Then I like to stretch out my quads. So I like to pull my leg up, make sure I'm pushing my pelvis forward so I'm not on top of my knee, and a 90-degree angle with my front leg so that I have the right posture and right alignment so I'm not causing any injuries. I then come back and I sit up onto that knee and push into those hips to stretch out my hip flexors. I'm really tight in my hips and I struggle a lot with my hips and my hip flexors, so this is a great stretch for me. And I just make sure that I'm really pushing through that pelvis, keeping that right angle in the front of my leg. Then I'm crossing my leg under and pulling up through the spine, pulling that knee to my chest, stretching out the glutes, making sure both of my glutes are on the floor so I'm not lifting off the floor. And just sitting here and stretching up nice and tall. From here, I'm moving into my quad stretch. This is my favorite stretch. I could hold this for hours. So I'm bringing that leg around, making sure my glutes are on the floor and my knees are down towards the floor. And I just come down onto my elbows to begin with, just so it's a nice light stretch. And then if you'd like to, you can further the stretch and go down onto your back nice and gently, which I love to do. And just try and keep those knees down towards the floor. You'll feel this through your quads and your hip flexor as well. It's a great stretch and really relaxing. I then like to bring my knee up just to further that stretch and deepen into that quad stretch. Sit here for a few more seconds. And then I'm going to gently, make sure you do it nice and gentle, come out of this position, rolling up, being really careful and aware of your body. And then I'm going to push back into a wide leg child's pose. This stretches out your hips as well. I do a lot of hip stretches because it's what I really struggle with and really need to maintain. And I just relax here and take a few breaths. Using my left arm, I just thread it under. Stretch out those shoulder blades and hang here for a little bit. Then I'm coming back into center and switching to the other arm, just nice and gentle. From here, I'm going to push up onto my toes, back into another downward dog, pushing those hips towards the ceiling, stretching through those shoulder blades and pedaling out those feet to get a bit of mobility and stretch through the calves, the Achilles, the hamstrings, and through that spine as well. Pushing through. From here, I'm going on to my right leg, lunging forward. This is my favorite leg. And I'm going to do my 8 rocks back and forward, getting that mobility through that hip. Five, 4, 3, 2, last one. From here, I'm coming down onto those elbows, really breathing through that stretch, pushing my pelvis down so it's not up towards the ceiling. I then like to extend that top arm up towards the ceiling, making sure I'm reaching through those fingertips, pulling those shoulders away from my ears, and sitting here for about 10 seconds, stretching out that spine and stretching through those hip flexors. I'm then bringing my knee down, pushing forward into that hip flexor, and I'm going to start rocking back and forward. Nice and slowly, I'm going to do this 8 times, making sure my glutes are pushing towards the back and then pulling forward, making sure there's that angle of my leg at the front so that I'm using proper alignment, and pushing back and forth, getting that mobility through the hips and the hamstrings. Really pushing through. Three, 2. From here, I'm bringing that foot up, pushing my pelvis forward so I'm not on top of that knee, and pulling that foot into my glute so I'm stretching out that left quadricep, making sure I still have that angle in my front leg, and I'm nice and stable on that leg, pushing that pelvis forward. Then I'm pushing up, keeping that foot and knee on the ground. I'm pushing through my hip flexors, stretching out, nice and tall. Then I'm going to cross that leg under, pulling that knee into my chest, making sure both glutes are on the floor, and stretching out that spine and those glutes. You're going to feel it up through that right glute, and then I'm bringing that leg around into my quad stretch. Back down onto my elbows, pushing those glutes into the ground, making sure your hips are straight up to the ceiling. Trying to keep those knees towards the mat, pulling down. And then if you'd like to further the stretch, you can come down. Close your eyes down if you like to. Take a few breaths here. And then bringing that knee up if you want to further that stretch even more, making sure that those glutes are still on the floor and your hips are still aligned. And you're going to feel it in that right quad. Nice big stretch, and slowly coming out of it, pulling those knees into your chest, rocking them around, massaging out your back on the mat, making nice little gentle circles with your knees. Good. From here, I'm bringing my feet down, extending my right leg, turning it out and putting it on top of my left. Then I bring my left knee up towards me and grab it with my hands. This is going to stretch out your glutes, your booties. It's a nice big stretch. And gently coming out of it, I'm changing over to the other leg. So bringing that leg up and over, grabbing the knee with my hands underneath, and then stretching out those glutes. If you'd like to further the stretch, you can gently push onto your knee, but nice and gentle. Make sure you're really careful with it because you don't want to injure yourself. Then gently coming out of it, I'm going to come up and stretch out my hamstrings. So I inhale nice and tall at the top, exhale rolling through my spine. I'm walking forward to my feet, trying to get my stomach flat onto my thighs, stretching out those hamstrings underneath your legs. Trying to get them nice and flexy, and I just sit here and breathe for a few moments. Making sure I'm keeping my legs straight and not rolling them outwards. And I'm rolling back up, inhale at the top. I'm then grabbing inside my foot and pulling out towards the side, stretching out my spine, stretching out my legs and those hamstrings again. Making sure I have proper alignment, my shoulders are away from my ears. I'm gently going to bring it back and go to the other leg. So you're going to wrap your hand from the inside, grabbing the outside of your foot and reaching through the back, through the fingertips. Gently coming down. Then I'm going to face the front, cross my legs, whatever's comfy for you, reaching up and over, stretching out those obliques in the side of your body, pulling your shoulders away from your ears, pulling through with energy through the fingertips, nice and tall. Inhale here, exhale to the other side, stretching out that spine. I like to finish off my stretch with some light stretches, almost like a little warm down, and then I'm coming back up. Inhale, cross your right arm across your body, then pull that arm using your opposite arm into your body and gently pulling. So you're going to feel that through your arms, through your triceps as well, and even through those shoulder blades. A nice gentle pull, and then you're going to change to the other side. Then grabbing your head gently, pulling up and over, stretching out that neck and that spine. Very good. Coming up and over, stretching out that spine. Inhale here, exhale. Then gently coming out of it, and you're done. Great job. Hope you enjoyed. Alright guys, thanks so much for joining me for my everyday stretch routine. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you're feeling a little more loose and limber now. Make sure you like this video and comment down below what you'd like to see for next week's Workout Wednesday video. Make sure you subscribe because I post new workout videos every single Wednesday. Alright, thanks so much for joining. Bye! Just try.